What would your teenage self say about you becoming a professional musician?
I think my teenage self probably would have been mad at me for a couple of the uh, a couple of when you reinvent yourself in certain ways and they just don't work. There was definitely some times in my 20s that I look back on and go, ooh, and I can tell that my 18-year-old self would have looked on that and gone, ooh. But I think I've managed to through Chris's basically, through his lack, I wouldn't say lack of direction, but lack of forcing anyone to fit a box.
Yeah.
And just saying, bring your thing in. So I get to do as close to what I was doing when I wasn't really making a living doing it. And subsequently, I've made a living doing stuff that I am not that proud of, or, whatever you have to do. This is the closest to what I would think my late teen-year-old self would be doing.
So you've come full circle.
I think so, yeah. The hair's long, the whole thing. I've given up on all the fashion stuff when you're young and you cut your hair and people try and wear suits and all that crap. I'm back to just sort of being the kid who is obsessed with records and wants to be as free as possible and wants to find that moment on stage where you lose the sense of time. And you lose not your sense of time like for the song, but like you lose your you go into a place. It's a drug.
Well, it's almost I definitely say that the idea of childlike wonder is a huge part of the CRB in terms of always being fascinated and always wanting to learn.
Yes, and because a lot of the time, something really great will just happen out of the blue on stage, and you go, oh, we got to remember this. We got to mark this down and do it every time, and you can't, Yeah. You can't.
You're just lucky enough to be there when it happened.
Yes, and, I'm super lucky because I feel like I get at least, 5 to 10 minutes of absolute, bliss where any sickness you feel or pain or any thoughts that you have or anything that's going on in your life that's distracting is just gone, completely gone.
Well, it's like time doesn't exist.
In a moment. Yeah, or all your anything. You could be going through a breakup or something could be happening. The kind of thing where as you walk on stage, you go, God, how am I going to do this? I'm so wrapped up in my own head. And then, 15 minutes later, you've hit a place where you have to walk off stage and then everything. It's like when you have, when you wake up from a dream and some crappy shit's happening in your life and there's a moment where you're laying in bed and you're going, man, everything's cool. What's up? And then all these things start to creep back, you fucked that up. You said something you shouldn't have said.
Yeah.
Somebody's mad at you. It all dribbles back in from your hangover or whatever, and then life kind of settles back on your shoulders. Oh fuck. So I get that. I get to have moments of.
And you chase it too, probably.
Yeah, yes, you do chase it, and then I think everybody in this band is a decent enough musician to have taken gigs that are more like work than they are like bliss, and we don't. We choose to move our own shit and live the way we live, and not be, not own a rad 2-bedroom house and all that. But there's two different ways of seeing it, and they're both valid. I get it. I'm sure I'll regret not having.
It's the idea that good things happen in time with good intent.
Absolutely, and music is a thing that you can really feel that. I mean, that's something where it's one of the arts that it's pretty immediate. If you do the right thing, it comes back.
Yeah.
As far as other arts go, it might take a little bit longer, but music is pretty damn immediate. If you're not faking it and you're doing the right thing and you're finding your bliss, and everyone can tell in the audience that that's what's happening, that's very immediate, and the results are totally worth banging up your fingers, moving gear, or having to not get any sleep or not be home for weeks at a time or whatever it is. It's completely worth that, because the options outside of that are pretty bleak. I haven't worked a goddamn day job since I was in my teens, so oops.